her birthday, November 12th.
Wow.
And I see it a lot, but we're just like...
Synchronicity. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Law of attraction playing out. Yeah. It's just, those people are, you know, they're in a place where they actually do need help. I'm not sure I'm the right person to help them. That's all.
I like that.
Who can you help?
I help people who are open.
Us.
Mm-hmm. Those,
The book study
anyone,
group.
yeah, the book study group, absolutely. Anyone who is open, because if you're open to looking at things differently, then I can show you. But if you're closed, then we're just going to end up having an argument, and I just walk away from arguments. There's no point, right? It's a waste of energy, waste of time. I just don't engage. So that's the thing. It's interesting. I just remembered a neighbor once had a problem with me, and she came out and she wanted me to talk to her, and I spoke to her, and then after a few minutes, I said, okay, take care, bye-bye. And she said, wait a second, you're just leaving? You don't want to, you know? I'm not done. Stella's not done. Stella's not done yet either. Stella, come and sit. Sit. Come here. Sit.
Stella, we love you.
There we go. That's a good girlie.
Is she a
So,
poodle?
she is a Labradoodle.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a doodle. Yeah, the doodle. She's my favorite puppy. So anyway, I said to her, I said, this is turning into an argument, and I don't do arguments, so I'll see you later. So I just walked away from her. I went back into my house and I said, not doing it. And then she was fine the next day. It was like nothing happened. So, yeah, just walk away from arguments. There's no point. Arguments will turn into fights. All right? Okay. We're seeing countries do that just now.
Oh my God.
Let's not go there.
No.
Let's go to our book. This is what we're here for. Yes, and it's all about relationships. And I do remember that Abraham even touches about nations later on in the book. They do.
That would be interesting.
They talk about everything. Okay. This book is just, this book of Abraham's, I've got it highlighted, like every sentence is an important sentence. It's crazy. It's a really, really amazing book. Okay.
So what page are we?
Sorry, we are on page 36.
Thank you.
And the heading there is, Will the Law of Attraction Do Household Chores? Isn't that fun? Yeah. My whole view... Oh, hi, Tamika, Novera, good to see you guys. My whole view of assigning chores changed after listening to Abraham, and I'll share that story with you, but let's go through this. So Jerry is asking this question: would you elaborate a little more on ways in which family members could harmoniously share in the responsibilities of common home maintenance and help with the general flow of the activities of the family and still maintain their individual feeling of freedom? And so, I don't know, but for parents, this ends up, even between spouses, who's going to do what and are they doing it becomes a problem. But for parents, most definitely, there are issues with, okay, children have to be responsible for certain things. So Abraham says, when you speak of responsibilities, you are usually speaking of action. Those are action-related things. You didn't act in this way that you should be acting. and I asked you to do this action-oriented thing and it didn't get done. So Abraham says, people who are assigning the activities of the family are often doing so from a personal place of imbalance. It's in that last paragraph, towards the middle of the paragraph. Abraham says the thing that usually goes wrong in such situations is that the people who are assigning the activities of the family are often doing so from a personal place of imbalance. Right? So that now puts the onus on the parent. So it put the onus on me because I had a huge problem. I had a huge problem with my daughter because she just there were heaps, her room was a mess. And it was a mess all the time. Like there was never a time, and you couldn't vacuum in her room because you would be stepping over things. The vacuum cleaner could not eat her stuff. So it was constant bickering between her and me. Can't you clean your room? This could just go, if you just don't put stuff on the floor, it won't become a mess. Right? Why can't you put your things away where they're supposed to go? It was a constant battle between me and her. And then when she did clean her room, she would stamp her feet and bang the door and be unpleasant, and it was just excruciating. And then two things happened. Well, one thing happened. The one thing that happened was I listened to Abraham, but as a result of listening to Abraham, two things happened. One thing that happened is that I realized that I don't have to pay attention to what she's doing because now I'm withholding love to her because she's not cleaning her room. And the most important aspect of any relationship is to keep love constant. So that was the first thing I realized. The second thing I realized was that I didn't need to ask my children to help me with anything around the house, because if I was asking for help, that means I was coming from a place of lack of alignment, of thinking that I couldn't do it all. So two things happen as a result. Two things happened in terms of action that I took as a result of the thinking that I did. One, I told my daughter to close her door and keep it closed. So I didn't see her room. And because I didn't see her room, I didn't get upset about it. That's it. I'm not going in there, and please keep your door closed. She was more than happy to oblige. She was totally okay with that. So our conflict ended because now I didn't say anything to her. I told myself that's her room. She can do whatever she wants in there. She doesn't want to clean it. That's fine. I'm not going to clean it for her, and I'm not going to tell her to clean it. So I just kept the door closed. I didn't get aggravated with her, and our relationship improved. The second thing I did was I stopped asking my children to do any sort of chores. I told myself the only reason I want them to do it is because I think I can't do it myself. But Abraham says I can have you do anything, so I can do it all. And then I said to myself, and if they want to help me, they'll come. I don't have to ask them to come, they'll come automatically. And so I just stopped asking them to do anything around the house. And I told myself, if I'm aligned, I can do it all. I don't need any help. I don't need help from anyone. Because when you are in a place of alignment, you have access to energy. When you are in a place of alignment, you have the time. And then I said to myself, they didn't pick this house. They didn't ask me to buy the house. They didn't say, Mom, go and buy a 6-bedroom house. I bought it. It was my decision, so why should I penalize them for my decision? right? It was my decision to buy this great big house. They didn't have any input into that decision. Maybe if I'd asked them, they would have said, no, don't buy this great big house. So I said, well, I made the decision. It's my house at the end of the day. They are guests here. They'll be leaving soon enough. I don't need to ask them. Now, the result of that is that solutions come, right? Solutions show up. So the solution that showed up was that when I let go, I also let go the feeling of lack. And then things improved, because what was I suffering from? I was suffering from lack of energy and lack of time and lack of love, right? So when I took all of these things away, abundance flowed, and I got a maid. I just got a cleaning lady to come in and clean. And that solved all the problems. None of us had to do it anymore. The solution came, right? And when I was doing things, the children joined me happily. Huh? So I just said, I'm just going to give up lack. I'm going to let abundance flow. And so I said, rather than take love out of the picture with my children, I'm going to put love back in the relationship, and I'm just going to find other people to do the work that I don't want to do myself. So I hired someone to do the outside work, and I hired someone to do the inside work. We became a really happy family. Love was restored and abundance started flowing. Because when you take love, here's the thing, when you take love out of the family, abundance does not flow. Because abundance is a reflection of love. Love and abundance go together. Love and abundance reflect each other. Where there is no love, there cannot be abundance. You have to have love for something. Even if you don't have love for the people who live under your roof, you have to have love for something. You have to have the ability to stay in the vibration of love, and then abundance will flow. So as long as you're not pushing against, so you see, being in love with life means that you first of all have to stop pushing against. If you're pushing against something, then love goes out of the picture. But you can be neutral towards people who live under your roof and be in love with other things. I mean, look around you and you'll see examples. I look around me and I see examples of husband and wife who are no longer in love with each other, living under the same roof, but they're not pushing against each other. He's got his life, she's got her life. They're both happy. They're not in love with each other, but they're happy with their lives. And abundance is flowing. The thing that throws abundance out of the window is when there's hatred, when there's a negative emotion. If they were fighting all the time, if they were at each other's throats all the time, not in love with life, then abundance would be affected. Because when you take love away, abundance leaves as well. They are interlinked. The vibration of, so in the Unlimited 365 group where I do talks on a daily basis, I did a presentation one morning, and that's every morning. So one morning I remember doing a presentation about the vibration of abundance. The vibration of abundance. What is the vibration of abundance?
Love.
Yes, exactly. When you open your heart, how do you open your heart? By feeling love. Right? So think about the vibration of abundance. The vibration of abundance is when you look at things and it makes you feel that there is a lot. There's no shortage. What is the vibration of abundance? Looking at the sky, and blue sky stretches all the way across. How does that feel? It makes you feel freedom. Suddenly you feel like freedom. Look at the sky. It's never ending. Freedom, abundance. What is that feeling? That feeling and the feeling of love and appreciation are very close. Those are very similar vibrations. When you see a field full of flowers, I love seeing fields full of flowers. I love those pictures of sunflowers and tulips growing, in farms, and you just see sunflowers for as far as you can see, and sunflowers are my favorite flower. So I just love those pictures. And which reminds me, my daughter brought her boyfriend first day to introduce him to me. And he brought me sunflowers. And she hadn't said anything to him. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is a very good thing.
Was that recent?
Just a couple of months ago, yes. Yeah, made me happy. So anyway, coming back to our topic here. Abundance, the vibration of abundance is very similar to the vibration of freedom and the vibration of love. That's why Abraham says freedom, love, and joy, or freedom, growth, and joy, right? Freedom, you cannot have joy if you are not feeling free. Right? So freedom and joy go hand in hand together, and it is the vibration of abundance is right there. So when you withdraw love, you also withdraw abundance from your life. And a lot of times people don't think that these things are linked, but they are linked. Because if you look at the emotional scale, love is over here. Freedom is over here. Love and joy are over here. Where is abundance? When do you feel abundance? You feel abundance when you're feeling freedom, when you're feeling love. You don't feel abundant when you're pinching pennies. You don't feel abundance when you think somebody's taking something away from you. You don't feel abundance in those situations. A sign of your love that is also a sign of your abundance is that when you're over here in love, you love giving gifts. You just want to give it away. Give. Because you are not thinking of lack. It makes you want to give more. You suddenly become generous. Right? And so love, abundance, joy, these are mixed up together. You withdraw one, the others get affected. So you have to have something. So like I was saying, these two people living under the same roof, as long as they may not be in love with each other, but they are in love with other things. So they are still vibrating with love. A lot of times, the common thing that they're in love with is their children. So the point is, as long as you're not at loggerheads with each other, you're not pushing against each other, you're not hating each other's presence, you're not planning murder in your head all the time, right? As long as you're not doing that, there's no negative vibration, even though you're not in love with each other. But there are other things that you're in love with. So the vibration of love is still there. Not love for each other, but love. So this is a very fine point. People think that when I stop pushing against someone or something, that I have to love it. You don't have to love it. You just have to stop pushing against it. Okay? You don't have to fall in love. So when Abraham says that you can't, you take yourself with you wherever you go, right? So you can't solve a problem by running away from it. The way to solve a problem is to become neutral towards it. Neutral. Once you become neutral, you can go anywhere because the fight has been taken out. If you're pushing against something, then you're taking a negative energy with you wherever you go. But if you're neutral, then you can go. Okay? All right. So let's move on. So that's where I realized that if I was the one who was out of balance, not the children. I was assigning chores from a place of not being lined up on the emotional scale myself. And therefore it leads to, and what Abraham says in that paragraph is the resentment they feel about having to do more than what they feel is their fair share, or the frustration they feel about the work not being done the way they want it to be done. There's a friend I have, and I laugh at her because she has the same cleaning lady as I do, but she cleans her house before the cleaning lady comes. So, it's like, all right, why do you have this person? Oh no, I don't want her to see this. I don't want her to see this. Okay, that's fine. So, anyway, resentment that I have to do more than someone else. That comparison is never a good thing. Why do I have to do more than this other person who lives in my house? That takes you down the emotional scale and it feels bad. And when you feel bad, everything in your life is affected. And I see that often. Often people complain about how much they have to do and nobody appreciates it. Well, the appreciation of others, if that becomes part of your recipe for happiness, then you're doomed forever. Right? Appreciation from others cannot be part of your recipe for joy. And if it is, then you're never going to be joyful. Because you're looking for it outside of yourself rather than look for it within yourself. All right. So Abraham says in italics at the bottom of the page, even though we are talking about taking action to organize and maintain the home, it is still necessary to find personal alignment first, which leads us to another flawed premise. With enough effort or hard work, I can accomplish anything. And that, I think, is a big one for a lot of us. Certainly was one of the things that I was caught on, is that effort. You require hard work and effort, you can accomplish anything. So when you are vibrationally out of balance with your desired results, there's not enough action in the world to compensate. See, the reason why Abraham tells us to take action after alignment. So Abraham's words are alignment before action. When you are in alignment, it takes less work, less time, and less effort to get the same job done than when you're over here. The same work takes less time when you are aligned. And that's the point. This is why people who are in alignment can do a lot more, can accomplish a lot more than other people. Because they are in alignment. It doesn't feel like hard work. It doesn't feel like a struggle. Hard work, why they call it hard work? I changed that around. When I was teaching the program, Heart and Mind Alignment program, no, the Unlimited Heart program, one of those. Anyway, too many programs, can't keep them straight in my head. Instead of wanting to do hard work, tell yourself to do heart work. Heart work. Replace hard work with heart work. Meaning, I won't have to work hard if I'm coming from this place, heart work, involving love and appreciation. When I come from here, my work is easy. When I come from here, you see, when you come from here, the resources of the universe become available to you. The universe steps in to bring you the right people and the right resources. So when I put love back in the picture, I was able to hire a cleaning lady. The solution came and the money for the solution also came. Right? So when you give up fighting, then the solution comes and the means for that solution also appear. And it becomes easy. It's an easy decision. Yes, let's do that. Absolutely. Let's do that. And when you're over here, you don't want to, from here, you're coming from a perspective of lack. You don't want to spend the money. You don't have the money. You don't trust someone coming into your house. All sorts of negative issues show up over here. And they are a reflection of where you are on the emotional scale. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Any action that you take from here is a struggle. Make sense? All right. Awesome. So, moving along, if you are focused upon problems, law of attraction will bring problems to you faster than you can fix them. So you see, when I was fixed on the problem, my daughter not cleaning her room and having a mess in her room, I was fixed on the problem. The solution would not come. And I'll tell you the fun part about this. This is the absolute funnest thing that happened as a result. You know what? When I hired the cleaning lady and my daughter knew that the cleaning lady is going to come every Thursday, she knew that she has to get everything off her floor every Thursday. Guess what happened? She started cleaning her room. She started putting things away because she didn't want the cleaning lady coming in and picking her clothes off the ground for her. So she started doing it herself. So you see, I stopped fighting with her, the solution came, and then what I wanted happened. And you look back and then you start seeing all these connections, but that's how it works. Right? So everything is connected. So when you stop focusing on the problem, what happened? I stopped focusing on the problem. I closed the door. I didn't see the problem anymore. The solution came and it became better than what I thought it would be. Right? Okay, so then in simple terms, the power of the law of attraction response to your vibration will always be stronger than your ability to keep up in terms of action. This is really important. The response of law of attraction to your vibration will always be stronger than your ability to keep up with it in terms of your physical action. Because think about it. Energy moves really fast. We call it the speed of light. Right? The speed of light. You see the light before you hear the thunder. Right? So the speed of light, that's the speed of energy. Energy moves so fast that you cannot, your physical action, can you run as fast as the speed of light? No, you can't. Right? You can't. Law of attraction moves so fast, you cannot keep up with it with your physical action. That's what Abraham is saying. Law of attraction moves so quickly, you cannot keep up with it. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, can you give us, in this case, an example of how you tap the powerful leverage of energy alignment?
By finding a way to go up the emotional scale. Over
I
here, you
appreciate
have access. Yeah. That's it. There are only really two tools. We were talking about that this morning in 365, right? There are only two tools. No, not in the 365, in the book study. In the unlimited book study, I was saying that we only have two tools, meditation and appreciation. And those are the only two things you need. And in fact, you need more appreciation than you do meditation. Because appreciation is something you can do all day. Meditation is not something you can do all day, every day. So, and oftentimes, the other night, there was someone who left a comment on my Facebook page, and I messaged him because his comment was coming from such a low place that I reached out to him, and I thought he needs help. So I reached out to him and I spoke to him. I set up an appointment and I spoke to him. And he said he was so demoralized because he said, I've been doing this law of attraction work for such a long time, Zehra. I can't understand why I'm single, I don't have a relationship, I don't have the money, nothing is working in my life, and I've put on so much weight. And so I asked him, I said, so tell me, just narrate to me, what do you do in a day? Like, just talk to me, what happens in one day of your life? Because I wanted to hear from him if he was meditating or appreciating. And then I said to him, so I indicated to him that he wasn't doing enough. And he said, what do you mean I'm not doing enough? I said, well, your manifestations are an indication if you're doing enough. So if you think that you are an appreciator because you wake up and then you appreciate 5 things, but your life is not going in the way you want it to, that means you need to appreciate more than just 5 things. It's not enough. What you're doing based on how much negative energy you've already collected in your life, just appreciating 5 things is not enough. So if you come to me and you say, yes, I'm doing the work, I meditate every day for half an hour, and I appreciate 5 or 10 things every day, I'm just going to say, well, I guess the rest of the time during the day, you're cooking up a lot of lack of appreciation. So your 5 things to appreciate is not enough to cancel that out, to counter the impact of it. It's just a balance. You tip the balance the other way. That's all it takes. If your life is not changing, you are not doing enough. Do more. That's the answer. Whether you like the answer or not, I can't help you with that, but that truly is the answer.
And that is the answer, to get it and to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing is to get back on track. The other thing is to stay there.
Exactly. That's why I created the Unlimited 40-Day Law of Attraction Workbook. Because I was not staying on track. The workbook was a result of my effort to keep myself on track at first. And then as I was coaching people, I started giving it to them because I wanted them to stay on track. They were not staying on track. And there are people in the group, Mercedes, who have stopped doing the workbook, and then they reach out to me and I just tell them, grab the workbook. Because I will interview them and I'll say, okay, tell me what you do during the day. And I'll find out that they have stopped doing the work. Well, if you stop doing the work, then obviously law of attraction is showing you the results. What do you need to do? Start doing the work again. You can never stop doing the work. Once you taste how good your life becomes as a result of doing the work, you can never stop doing the work because you want that goodness. You want that. And sometimes it's easy because you can start from where you are and go forward. But sometimes we have beliefs that keep creeping up that need to be dealt with, and that's where it becomes complicated. To change your self-talk about things, sometimes you need that in order to release the negative vibration that you have going on. And that's mostly where people need help. Hi, Rochelle. Good to see you, Alec, Rochelle, and Stacy, Carol, Tamika. Awesome. Good to see you guys, Navera. Very good. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. So, does that answer your question, Mercedes?
Yes, indeed.
All right, awesome. So, Abraham says, unless you are able to let go of your chronic awareness of unfinished tasks and uncooperative family members, you will never be able to elicit good feeling cooperation from others. And that's exactly what I shared with you. I gave up, right? I stopped expecting that. And when I stopped expecting it, it happened. You have to find the feeling place of a cooperative home that is organized and good feeling before you can inspire that behavior from others. The people in your life will always give you exactly what you expect, no exceptions. And that is exactly the concept that I was showing you to apply to abundance. You have to find the feeling of abundance. How does it feel? What is the feeling of abundance? And instead of trying to create the feeling of abundance based on money, don't do that if money is a difficult topic, because you probably have so many negative beliefs relative to money that you are not even aware of. So generate the vibration of abundance using a subject on which you don't have any negative beliefs. This is why I say, look at a field full of sunflowers. Because I don't have any negative beliefs about sunflowers. So I can generate the vibration of abundance using sunflowers, and then my money will improve. Generate the vibration of freedom and abundance by looking at the sky. Appreciate sunsets and sunrises, and your money will improve because there's a feeling of abundance in that. Will we ever run out of sunsets? Will we ever run out of sky? So you see, that's that feeling of abundance. I'm never going to run out of this. Just grab hold of that feeling of abundance and feel it. And then everything will change. Love is at the center of all of it. And this book is all about bringing love back into your life in all sorts of different ways. And that's exactly what Abraham is saying. Find the feeling place of a cooperative home. Just like you can find the feeling of abundance in a field full of sunflowers, what does a cooperative home feel like? There are so many things that we cooperate on as families. Like I can think of 10,000 different instances. For example, when we were going for a holiday that my children were helping happily. Right? There was cooperation. When we were camping, everyone was helping happily. Right? We were moving homes. For me, that was a very happy occasion. I love moving. And my children were happy because they'd pick their new rooms and how they're going to decorate them. They were happy. Right? What are the instances of happy cooperation in your family? Relive them, anchor them. Those are your anchor thoughts. All right. Very important sentence right at the bottom of page 37. Many people tell us that they believe that their negative expectations were born from observing negative behavior and not the other way around. I didn't expect my son to refuse to take out the garbage until he consistently refused to take out the garbage. Right? Very important, because isn't that how it works? But the point is, your son refused to take out the garbage the first time because for whatever reason, love was not in the picture. See? If I'm unhappy about something at work, and I bring that unhappiness with me, and now as I'm talking to my son, I am imposing that unhappy vibration on him, although it has nothing to do with him, he is going to retaliate negatively because he's feeling my negative vibration and might think that it's because of him or has something to do with him. And so this is how children start retaliating. And then it just becomes a loop. Because he retaliates, then next time you go and ask him to do something, you're already thinking, last time he didn't do it and he was obnoxious. So you've activated that negative vibration, then you go and ask him again, and you get a worse response, and then a worse response, and then a worse response. That's law of attraction playing out. So this is why I developed a technique that I teach, is that when you're interacting with someone that you care about, stop for 10 seconds and bring your love for them back into your heart. Close your eyes if you can, right? Very powerful if you can hug them. So in our society these days, hugs are, it's just a gesture, it's meaningless. People peck each other and hug each other and it has no emotion. If you bring emotion back into that gesture, you'll see that people's attitude changes completely. And I've actually practiced it, and you'll find that when you bring love into your communication with the person and you leave everything negative that was going on before outside that conversation, it will always go well. And I learned this from my father. My father used to do this. It was so apparent with him because he had a very fiery temper. So he would be blowing his top at someone, and then he would turn around and speak to my mother, and his whole face would change. Just like that. As if a magic wand, just, and you could just see, all right, how can you do that? Like 10 seconds ago, you were mad as hell. And now you're looking at her and love is dripping off your face. What is wrong with you? It's like, how can you do that? But he used to do that. And then, so I used to notice it about my father. And then after my father made his transition, I started noticing that my brother was doing the same thing. So he's talking to someone and his face is different. Soon as he looks at one of his children, his whole face softens. You can just see that physical change. And what is he doing? He's bringing love into this conversation with his child. Right? And, so here I was observing my father and my brother do it. And then one day somebody told me, your son just came into the room and your whole face changed. And I was like, oh, that's nice to know. I do it as well. Right? But the thing is, it's noticeable. It's noticeable. You think if it's noticeable to people outside of you that the person you're talking to doesn't know? Of course they know. And my mother had a very fiery temper. Imagine if my father had brought that anger to her, she would have, bashed his head in with something. Okay. They were very fun to observe. I learned a lot. So Abraham is saying, now we're back to Jerry's questions. Page 38, Jerry says, what about when our interests no longer match? Isn't that something that we come across in our society so many times? When people in a relationship, so this is Jerry's question, when people in a relationship that was once harmonious find that their interests have changed, and so now they are often in disagreement with one another, how can they find harmony when they have opposing beliefs or desires? I've had this happen to me in the sense that I've had a coaching client come and say to me, well, you know, I have this partner, but he's not on the law of attraction journey. I guess I should find another partner, you know, someone who looks at things the same way I do. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to. Just because someone doesn't have the same beliefs as you, you don't need to find a new partner. Because if you keep love constant in your relationship, it doesn't matter if you have different ways of looking at things. So Abraham says, flawed premise number 8, to be in harmony with another, we have to want and believe the same things. No, not at all. And I've seen this close at hand actually with my grandparents. Not so much my parents, because my parents had common goals and things, but I've seen this stark reality with my grandparents. My grandmother, both my paternal and maternal grandparents had the same scenario going on. Both my grandmothers had only gone to elementary school. After that, they were married. So they were married like really young ages, 13, 14. And the husbands were very well educated. Had, you know, my paternal grandfather was an engineer. Way back then, he was an engineer. And my maternal grandfather was in the railways. I don't remember what he did in the railways, but they were both really well educated. And so both the men, I noticed, had different types of conversations with their wives. And then they had this group of friends where they had all their intellectual conversations. They didn't talk politics with their wives. Whereas my father and my mother were different. We had political discussions at the dinner table. But with my grandparents, they talked about totally different interests. But they loved each other. So you'd think that they had nothing in common. Because they never did anything together. They never went on trips together. They never had hobbies together. The only thing they had together was kids. But they loved each other. But they loved each other, and you could feel the love. You could see the love. Right? So they were happily married. They didn't expect to find everything they wanted to satisfy them in the one person. This is where I think that we go wrong these days, is that people look for one person and that person has to be everything to them. All aspects of what they want. And no one person can do that, right? And that is where you start noticing, oh, that person doesn't like that. Well, I guess we are not getting along. And once you plant that seed that says, I guess we are not getting along, what is law of attraction going to do with that seed? Right? It's going to bring you more things. You're going to start noticing more differences. So as long as you keep love constant, keep love constant. Love is independent. It's on its own. You love your dog. How many intellectual conversations do you have with your dog? Does your dog help you with the chores around the house? Like, why do you love your dog? If anything, you're doing chores for the dog. Right? But yes, you're laughing. Yes, it's funny, right? But that's the thing. That's the thing, because we don't have any disagreements with our dogs. and cats, right? Because we keep love constant. We keep love constant towards our animals, but when there's a person involved who has an opinion that's different from ours, suddenly love leaves, goes out the door or window or whatever opening you have, it's gone. All right. So Abraham says, disagreements are the perfect environment for expansion and joy. Page 39. Page 39, the first paragraph there, at the bottom of that first paragraph, Abraham says, disagreements, in fact, are the perfect environment for expansion and joy, diversity of beliefs and desires, but alignment with Source. As long as you are aligned with Source, disagreements are actually an opportunity for expansion and joy. Relationships are usually better in the beginning because you are both looking for things you want to see. That's that honeymoon period. You look for things to appreciate, so you find them. And when you stop looking, then they don't exist anymore. Law of attraction will stop bringing you what you're not focused on. So Abraham says, in the beginning, you are using one another as your positive reason to find harmony with who you really are. You're using the other person as a reason to be happy, but you can be happy on your own. That's the end of the second paragraph there that I'm reading. And then the words in italics, the third paragraph, the Source within you only sees positive aspects in your partner. And whenever you are finding positive aspects, you are in alignment with who you really are. And that's the important thing. So based on this premise, you can get along with anyone in the world. Now think about it. Any of you have jobs, 9-to-5 kind of work, where you interact with other people, or you're self-employed and you interact with employees or other people like that, or customers, right? We all have some of that going on. Even stay-at-home parents are interacting with coaches for their parents and other such, roles. When you go to work, don't you find harmony with the team? Don't you find a way to work with all these different personalities? You don't ask for your clients to look exactly like you, have the same beliefs. You don't. Somebody wants to buy something, you sell it to them. You don't say, no, first I want you to convert to my religion and wear the same type of clothes and then I will sell you this thing. I hope you don't. I don't know, maybe there are some people out there who do. But the point is, you find a way to get along with other people. It's just with the people that we live with, or we spend too much time with, then we start looking for things not to appreciate, whereas we can do the same, we can do the opposite. We can look for things to appreciate. And as long as you're looking for things to appreciate, you'll get along. No one appreciated my grandmother's cooking more than my grandfather. They got along. All right. What if one doesn't want the relationship to end? And then Jerry says, but what if your desires are really different from those of your mate? What if one of you has decided to bring your relationship to an end and the other one wants it to continue? Abraham says, page 39, right at the bottom, we understand how that might seem like different desires, but actually there is a powerful mutual desire. At the heart of what both people want is the desire to feel better. One believes that the action of separation is the most likely path to feeling better, while the other one believes that staying together is the path. So, no one right answer. And that leads us to page 40, flawed premise number 9, right at the top of the page. The path to my joy is through my action. When I'm feeling bad, I can get to a better feeling place by taking action. I can focus upon a situation that I think is the reason I'm feeling bad and walk away from it. And once away from it, I will feel better. I can get to what I want by leaving what I don't want. And that's never the case, because we always take ourselves with us. And unless you can become neutral where you are about the thing that is bothering you, you will not create a better future reality. So Abraham says, so a person near you who is pleasing to you can serve as a positive object of attention, causing no distraction from your alignment. I see it happening with parents. They are happy until the child does something they don't like, and now they're unhappy. So they go down the emotional scale because of something that someone else is doing, but they don't have to. The belief that another person is making you happy is incorrect. Just like nobody can make you unhappy, nobody can make you happy. You are allowing yourself to be happy. I explain it this way. If you go, water is beautiful. Water will illustrate this to you. If you go to a large body of water or running water, doesn't matter. Water in nature, like a lake or an ocean or a sea or a stream or a river, something like that. You go there. Notice how the water reflects your mood. If somebody is feeling depressed and they go to the water, it reflects their depression in the sense that the water seems like their depression. But if you're happy, then the water is dancing with you. Water reflects. So your mood reflects onto whatever it is that you're looking at. Your internal mood reflects onto whatever you're looking at. You can stand at the edge of the water, the same water, two different people. To one, it can seem happy, and to the other one, it can seem depressing. Same water. And that's because the inner world, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. Right? It's the same thing. A painting, the same painting can be pleasing to one person and ugly to another person. Because it's your vibration. How you see it makes you see it a certain way. So if you were deciding to be happy, no one can take that happiness away from you regardless of how they're behaving. Right? You can be happy. Unless you pay attention to that and then you say something like, they shouldn't be doing that, now you become conditional. And when you become conditional, then happiness is out of there because love is out of there. So Abraham says this is an inclusion-based universe. Second last paragraph of page 40. It is natural that you would want to remove yourself from things that do not feel good, but in an inclusion-based universe, that is not possible. You cannot focus upon unwanted things and therefore cultivate you cannot focus upon unwanted things and therefore activate the unwanted in your vibration and get away from it, because the pulling power of law of attraction is stronger than any action that you may offer. As you walk away from one unpleasant situation, the law of attraction will bring you another that feels very much like it, and usually quickly. You just cannot get there from there. And the way I explain that is, I actually drew a diagram in the book Thrive. You'll find a diagram. I don't have the book handy, so I'll just try and explain it with this. I used to wonder when Abraham said, you can't get there from there. What do you mean, Abraham? You can't get there from there. Well, you understand it if you map the thing that you want. The thing that you want will always come to you from a place of love and joy. So the thing that you want is over here at a place of love and joy. But you're over here. You can't manifest the thing that's there. You have to travel all the way up the emotional scale and meet it here. So you can keep asking for it, and if you keep asking for it, then you're noticing the absence of it, then you can't get there from there. You have to stop noticing the absence of it. Why? Because noticing the absence of it makes you feel bad. It's a vibration of lack. Lack of any type feels bad. So if you're noticing the absence of something, you feel bad. You can't manifest it because it's here. No matter how much you ask for it, it cannot come because it defies the rules of the universe. And this is what happens. I know people who say, I want that. I want it so badly. Why can't I get it? Universe, give it to me. I want it more than anyone else in the world. Give it to me. But when you say things like that, you're noticing absence and feeling bad. You can't get there from there. You can't have that. You've got to do the work to go all the way up the emotional scale and then. And this is why Abraham keeps saying those words, go up the emotional scale and then. Go up the emotional scale and then, because everything that we want is right over here. So we don't need to do any other work. The only work we ever need to do is the work of going up the emotional scale. That's the answer to everything. And what do we find at the top of the emotional scale? Love. So that's where I came up with the affirmation, love is my anchor. Love is my anchor. As long as I am anchored to love and I don't float away from it, it will keep me there, then everything will always work out for me. Love is my anchor. And when I'm drifting away from it, I want to know that I'm drifting away from it so that I can come back to it. All right, folks, it is 1 o'clock and we start another heading, the 30-minute energy alignment process next time. Thank you for joining me.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I don't know whether it will take longer than a quick answer.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Earlier you said you have to be neutral.
Yes.
I just want to know the difference between how do you become neutral as opposed to like putting a happy face sticker on a empty gas tank. So
very good question, Lakshmi. Very good question. Here, I'll give you an analogy that I use in order to help people understand. And the analogy is if you're driving a car and if it's in the reverse. When is it in the reverse? It's in the reverse when you're moving away from things that you want. Well, you have to bring it to a stop before you can move forward. You can't go from reverse to forward just like that, right? So in between going reverse and going forward is a period of neutrality. That's what I mean. You have to, if you're pushing against something, you first have to become neutral towards it. Only then can you move forward towards the thing that you want. So I have this relationship and I hate this person. Unless I can become neutral towards all that has happened between the two of us, I cannot move forward towards the relationship that I actually want. If I am in a job that I absolutely hate, I have to become neutral first before I can find the job that will be truly fulfilling. It applies the same way to everything. Sometimes you cannot achieve neutrality while you're still in that relationship because it's in your face every day. So you have to remove yourself physically from it in order to find a place of neutrality. But you will not find the relationship that you want unless you are able to first get to that place of neutrality. Because if you leave and you're not neutral, you'll find another person who will behave exactly the same way. A different person will bring you the same results. That's what it means. So you have to stop pushing back, which means you have to give up that negative emotion. And at least you don't have to be in love with that person, but you have to stop hating them. You have to stop negative emotion towards them so that you can then find the person that you really want. Same applies to everything else. Job situation again, right? Leave if you have to leave, but then do the emotional vibrational work to remove the neutrality from your life before accepting another position. Because if you take this neutrality into the next job you will attract a job that looks like your old job unless you've cleaned up your vibration. And remember this one thing, the same job can give two different experiences to two different people based on who they are and their vibration, right? The same client can show you two different faces based on who you are. So that's...
I was only trying to see the, like, I don't want to put a happy face sticker.
No, we can't. We can't put a happy face sticker. It's not possible. Because so, I can't be here and put a happy face sticker. Okay? In order to, I actually have to go through all these emotions up the emotional scale. So the happy face sticker is something that Abraham talks about in the book Ask and It Is Given, where they say if your fuel tank is empty, you can't put a happy sticker on it and assume that your tank is full. That's what people do when they are over here. And they think that they're here, they're not. And you have proof because your manifestations tell you. Because if nothing is changing, I have people say this to me all the time. I'm happy, Zehra, but my life isn't changing. Well, guess what then? You're not happy. Because why? Because you don't really know what happiness feels like. It's been such a long time since you were truly happy that you've forgotten. Okay? Awesome. All right, folks, thank you for joining me. Yes, Andrew, go ahead.
I was going to ask about the quantum physics meeting on Saturday.
Yes.
I don't know where to find the information on that.
Oh, I posted it as an event in both the groups. You're in the unicorn group, are you not?
I don't think so.
You're not in the unicorn group? Then it is also posted in the fun group. Let me just, you know what? I'll just give you the link.
Yeah.
I'll just give you
Okay.
the,
Yeah, I don't see it in the fun group, and I'll look for the unicorn group as well. But
What is that group? Funny group.
Abraham Fun. It's a group that Karen runs.
Okay.
Hang on. Andrew, do you have my email address? Because I'm not being able to load this. Let me see if I can go into another group. I think my internet is wonky just now. All right. My Zoom call just dropped. We're back. I was like, okay, I don't know what happened. Andrew, do you have my email address?
no.
Okay, zmahoon@yahoo.com.
That's it?
That's
Mahoon?
Yeah, at yahoo.com. Send me an email and I'll send you the information. Because
Okay.
my internet is wonky, and I tried to get the link, but then the call dropped because of that. So I'm just going to close the call. Send me an email and I'll send you the information.
It's from 2 to 3, right?
It's from 2 to 3:30, an hour and a half.
And you'll be sending the link for that.
I did already. Check your email. Sometimes it can go to spam, so check your email.
No, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. You have another question, Andrew?
No, I'm just
You're waving goodbye. Okay. Bye, guys. All right, people on Facebook. Helen. Preet Paul. I don't know, Preet Paul. I'll have to check for you. All right, awesome. Send me a message, or are we friends on Facebook? I don't know. But anyway, I'll look after that for you. Stephen, hello. Good to see you. All right, folks. Bye for now.